What's up, everyone? So, you're about to crank up your favorite playlist, right? But hold on a second. Have you ever really thought about what music is? Like, what's actually hitting your ears? Today, we're going to break it all down and look at the actual science behind your favorite songs. Yeah, I mean, for real. You press play, that beat drops, and you get chills. But what is that? What's going on between the speaker and your brain to make you feel that way? Well, we're going to get into it, and you'll be surprised how simple it all starts. Okay, so here's the big secret, the main ingredient for all of it. Every single sound you've ever heard in your entire life starts with a wobble, a vibration. That's it. That's the foundation of everything. Think about it like this. You drop a pebble in a lake, and you see those ripples spread out, right? Sound works the exact same way, but with air. So when a guitar string gets plucked or a drummer hits a cymbal, it wobbles. And that wobble pushes the air around it, creating these invisible waves. It's kind of wild to think about, but without air to carry those waves, you'd get nothing, just silence. And that's what a sound wave is, scientifically speaking. It's just these tiny, tiny changes in air pressure that our ears are built to pick up. They're like these little invisible messengers, zipping from the instrument right into your ear. All right, so we know sound is a vibration, but obviously not all sounds are the same, right? Some are high, some are low. And that all comes down to how fast the vibration is. For all you gamers out there, this is going to make total sense. Think of it as the refresh rate of sound. Yeah, it's pretty much a one-to-one comparison. A super fast vibration is like a high refresh rate on your monitor. It gives you a high-pitched sound. And a slow, kind of lazy vibration, that's your low refresh rate, or a deep, low-pitched sound. It really is that simple. So this quality that we call high or low is known as pitch, and it's all about the speed of that vibration. This is why instruments sound so different, you know? A giant cello has these long, heavy strings that vibrate super slow. That's where you get those deep, low notes. But then you've got something small like a piccolo, which makes air vibrate incredibly fast, and boom, you get those super high, piercing notes.
So, of course, scientists have a way to measure all this. They don't just say fast or slow. They use something called frequency, and the unit is hertz, or Hz. And what it means is super straightforward. If a sound is 400 hertz, it means the thing making the sound is literally vibrating back and forth 400 times every single second. I mean, that's insane, right?
Okay, so what can we humans actually hear? Let's talk about our own specs. At the absolute bottom of our range is 20 hertz. This is that crazy deep bass that you feel more than you hear. You know, like at a concert or in an action movie when the whole room just rumbles? Yeah, that's it. On the other side of the spectrum, we humans can feel around 20,000 hertz. Now that's pretty high. Adults are normally able to hear from 20 to about 22,000 hertz. And on the other end of the spectrum, the highest we can go is around 20,000 hertz. That's 20,000 vibrations a second. It's that really high, almost piercing sound, kind of like an old TV makes. And here's a little fun fact for you. That range actually shrinks as you get older. So enjoy hearing those high frequencies while you can. Okay, pitch is down. High and low, got it. But what about loud and quiet? That's a totally different thing. So let's go back to our gaming analogy. We're not talking refresh rate anymore. Now we're talking about the power-up meter. It's a perfect analogy. Imagine you're at a piano. If you press a key softly, you get a quiet note. If you slam that same key, you get a loud note. You see? The note itself, the pitch, didn't change at all. All you did was give it more power, more energy. You basically just used a power-up on that sound wave. And the science word for this power is amplitude. If you could see a sound wave, amplitude would be its height. So a tall, towering wave has a ton of energy, and our brain hears that as loud. A tiny little wave has way less energy, and we hear it as quiet. And, just a heads up, those really, really tall waves with huge amplitude, they can seriously mess up your hearing, so be careful. All right, check this out. We've got pitch, that's the high and low, and we've got amplitude, that's the loud and quiet. But here's the puzzle. If a piano and a guitar play the exact same note at the exact same volume, why do they still sound totally different? How do we know which is which? Well, to solve that mystery, we first got to understand the difference between a real musical sound and just plain old noise. A musical note, like someone singing, has a nice, regular, predictable wave. It's orderly. But noise? Think of a vacuum cleaner. Its sound wave is just a total mess. It's chaotic and all over the place, with no clear pitch you could hum.
And this right here, this is where the magic comes in. Turns out, when an instrument plays a note, it doesn't just make one single perfect sound wave. It actually makes the main wave plus a bunch of other quieter, higher waves at the same time. These are called overtones. Think of them like secret spices in a recipe. They're what give every instrument its own unique taste or, sound.
This special mix of overtones, this unique sound flavor, has a name: timbre. It's pronounced timbre, and the best way to think of it is like a character's skin in a video game. So pitch is how high Mario can jump, right? Volume is how powerful his jump is. But timbre is what makes him Mario and not Luigi, even if you're doing the exact same jump. Okay, so we have our 3 building blocks: pitch, amplitude, and timbre, high/low, loud/quiet, and unique character. Now let's see how actual instruments put all this science together to make the music we love. Let's take something like a guitar. You pluck a string, it vibrates. Simple. The pitch, that depends on how long, thick, and tight that string is. When a guitarist puts their finger on a fret, they're making the string shorter, which makes the vibration faster, and the pitch goes up. And that big hollow body of the guitar, that's basically a natural speaker, making the whole thing louder. Now for wind instruments, like a saxophone or a trumpet. Here, it's not a string that's vibrating, it's the actual air inside the instrument. And when the player presses down on the keys or moves the slide on a trombone, they're changing the length of that tube of air. A shorter tube means a faster vibration, and you guessed it, a higher pitch. Easy. And finally, percussion. This is the most direct one. You literally just hit stuff to make it vibrate. Some percussion instruments, like a xylophone, are tuned to make specific notes, specific pitches. But others, like the cymbals in a drum kit, are all about creating that awesome, energetic crash of sound, pure noise that gives a song its power. So all these vibrations fly through the air and hit your ear. What happens then? Well, your ear is basically this incredibly advanced microphone. It takes all that incoming data, the speed of the vibration for pitch, the power of it for volume, and all those secret spices for timbre, and translates it into signals that it sends straight to your brain. Your brain then becomes the ultimate producer, mixing it all together into what you hear as music. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Every single song you love, whether it's by Mozart or by your favorite artist right now, is nothing more than a carefully organized pattern of wobbles in the air. That's it. A pattern of vibrations designed specifically to tell you a story or to make you feel something. So the next time you put your headphones on, I want you to listen differently. Listen for the science. Can you pick out the high frequencies from the low ones? Can you hear that unique timbre, that character skin that makes a synth different from a piano? Now that you know the rules of the game, you can start hearing music on a whole new level.